Good thing we've been training for the march because we're going to be walking.
We're going to be walkers. That's right. Listen, we know we can walk 50 miles in a day. So good luck to all you.
Good luck getting to that wedding in New York.
Yeah, it's going to be. Sorry.
We should have left last Monday,
Yeah,
Wendy.
when's the wedding? January, or we'll get on the road?
This is about control. Everybody knows. Everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros. I don't need a plane. I just hit the road. I do what I want. I can't sell my soul. Market about to crash. This is what you chose. Ruining the country. I think that's the goal. You gonna take the mark. I take narrow roads. I'm a man of God. I can never fold.
Anyway, all right. You ready? Ready?
Ready?
Here we go. Welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I'm your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host, Zach, the ungovernable.
Yeah.
Grady, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show.
That's the best one you've ever said.
You wear cooler shirts from now on. The only cool shirt you've ever worn was that Tucker one with him wearing the crown.
Oh yeah, it'll be back.
That was a gangster shirt.
I like the positive one.
Be positive.
Oh yeah. Magic
stay
Johnson,
positive.
Stay positive.
He has a few good shirts.
Once Lindy
The
figured
Tucker
out the
one
joke.
got
That's right.
the Tucker one got a lot of comments though, asking where did you get that shirt?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am the ads Facebook targets.
Yes, you are. You are a
I am
walking
the-
Facebook ad.
I'm the person Facebook ads target.
Yeah, you are their target market.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, listen, let me finish. And of course, and always lovely, my wife, Lindy. Welcome to the show, honey.
And sometimes forgettable. Thank you.
Forgettable?
Yeah, you almost forgot to introduce me.
Well, I didn't forget. I just got interrupted.
Oh.
I was in the middle of an
T-shirts are
intro,
an
and all of a
important
sudden,
topic.
yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Ian, welcome to the show, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Why don't you tell them what to do? Tell our audience where to find us, what to do.
Well,
and
if you
give
do
them some
not want to
instructions.
forget about Lindy, make sure you please help support the channel by smashing that subscribe and like button. It's absolutely free. And guess what? It also greatly helps out the channel.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Way to
And
tie
we-
in the intro.
Love it.
You like that?
I enjoyed that. Yeah, thank you.
Don't
for that.
forget about Lindy.
Yes, and listen,
Hashtag
here's the deal.
never forget.
We are the freest podcast in all the land. Okay? And we are a pro-freedom podcast. And we believe that purpose is going to drive freedom for people, because without purpose, we cannot have freedom. And if you don't share the show, then our message will not get out. Therefore, we will not save the world.
And what is your
Amen.
purpose if
Right.
you're not sharing this show?
If you're not sharing the show with your friends and your family, then we are not, then our mission will fall flat.
And strangers, you should share it with people you don't even know.
Share with everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Share with the world.
And if you agree with us or don't, I don't understand how anyone could disagree with us. Like, what do we say? We're out here trying to just talk truth, unbiased truth. And I know there's bias in all of us.
If everybody agreed with us, we wouldn't even need a show.
Well, here's the deal. So for the audience, for the audience and some perspective, today we decided we were going to come in and on the docket for today was going to be, we're going to talk about our purpose. We've inspired a bunch of people, which is really humbling and very cool. And without a doubt, our purpose, one of our purposes and our mission, to try and help people find their own purpose. This way, they don't have to search other places for their purpose, like the media narratives that are handed to them. And what happened was we changed our mind. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about some more truth surrounding 9/11 on the heels of the anniversary of 9/11. You're looking at 3 veterans, one of which joined because of now. You've told that story on the show before, haven't you?
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah, of how we joined. I was in basic training on September 11th. I think I've given my account of the how I found out on the show. We'll recap a little bit, but this is. Where were you on September 11th?
I was in American government class, actually.
So was I.
Any influence on your military service?
Oh, yeah.
100%?
Yep.
What about you? Where were you?
I was showing up late to school, and as I walked into the
Detention.
the receptionist's office,
Receptionist, that's what they call that.
we literally watched the second tower get hit. Because she was watching. I'm like, "What do you watch on TV?" She's like, "I don't know. Some plane flew into the." That's
Yeah.
the second plane just hit, and I remember all the teachers brought in every TV got brought in all the rooms. Everyone watched
Class
because the second
basically
one
shut down
after the
that.
second one, you knew something was awry.
Yeah, the first one could have been an accident, I guess. Yeah. Right? That's what people thought.
There's blind pilots.
For sure. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So before we get started, are we going to drink today or what?
Yeah.
I'm over here drinking coffee, drooling over that whiskey, and forgetting that we're going to drink whiskey today. Because in honor.
And nobody's fasting currently at this moment either, so.
That's right. You're off your fast. Thank you for coming back to the show. We're going to start again, though. So prepare, audience, for some.
If you like us drinking, you may not.
I just broke my 36-hour fast.
You did
morning.
36 hours?
I started Sunday night and I didn't eat yesterday. And then this morning, right before I dropped off the girls, I'm like, do you guys want some breakfast? I'll make some eggs. You want sausage? So I'm making some breakfast.
Isn't it funny when you're fasting, though? Like, when nighttime rolls around, you're like, oh, God, I can't wait to go to bed.
Yeah, bedtime.
Yes.
I'm going to bed right now.
It'll be like 7 o'clock, but
Second
I'm
I
going to
wake
bed,
up, I gotta
honey.
eat.
Yeah. I become so unproductive because I just want to sleep my fucking pain away.
And all you think about is food. You don't
Oh
think
my
about
goodness.
business or.
Yeah, I just want a burger.
Did you say
All I want
steak?
is a rib.
Somebody say steak.
Yes, all I want is a ribeye. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So what are we drinking today? We're drinking house whiskey. What do we have in this house whiskey?
Well, that one's just basil.
Oh yeah, the Basil Hayden toast, right?
My favorite.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. You like the subtle smoke.
I think,
Cheers.
yeah, I think
Cheers.
smoke's your
Salud.
favorite.
Salud. Thanks for coming to the show, everybody. Taking your time out of your busy pants dropping schedules to.
These aren't Jason
Partake in the
Steiner
studio
pours,
liquor.
but
They are not.
Dude, Jason Steiner came into this, and I was like, "Yeah, you pour," and that dude I'd never seen a Glencairn glass filled up so high in my life. He filled it almost to a spill, and he had to hand it to me like this because it was falling over. Anyway, speaking of, before we get cracking on this 9/11 deal, well, I want to talk about Steiner and Hero Stock, which you attended. I was unable to because I had
Too many kid stuff.
Yeah, kid stuff, and then we went to the Morgan Wallen concert, which was fun. Good entertainer, that guy. But before we talk about 9/11, disclaimer: like we are all very patriotic people and love this country. I would go as far as to say more than the very most, like 99% of the country, to the point where we have made it our life's mission and our life's work to try and put out information and positivity and create a difference to better this country, taking time out of our lives. Literally every single day of our lives, we take time out of our lives to try and provide value to people to better this country. So spare us all the hate about the anti-patriotism and whatever else that comes along following that conversation. We just have questions, right? Do I speak for all of us?
I'd say so. Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah, we just have questions.
And there's nothing wrong with having a you should have
everyone
questions.
should have questions. And if we believe that the information that we are being fed by not only the media and the government and all of the entities that come along with them,
If what you believe is a fact, you shouldn't be scared to answer questions about it.
pretty
And
simple.
it is okay to do your own research.
And we've talked about that before, how the narrative is, don't do your own research.
Just believe it.
Listen, just a disclaimer. We are very, very patriotic. Do you have a
A finger sleeve?
bracelet on that spells your name
Backwards.
backwards? That's what I'm talking about.
Why? Well, yeah, my daughter made it. I didn't make my own bracelet.
So great.
with my
I
name
just
on it.
noticed. That's great. Protect your purpose forward. Zach, backwards.
Yep.
I love
Where's
it.
that?
Upside down
Gaz.
and inside out.
Gauze.
Gosh, Chaz.
Gauze.
Chaz.
Anyway, Steiner, how'd that go? Pretty good event, huh?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, it
He
turned
had
out.
a ton of vendors out there.
A lot.
Ridiculous.
Probably
amount.
40.
From all over, dude. There's a dude from Portland, Oregon, California, Illinois.
Wow.
So good.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So he did a great job. Like, I think he said on the or no, maybe he didn't. That was but he brought so many different veteran organizations together and then invited every single veteran in the area. You know, it's just really cool. Hopefully there were some veterans out there that got linked up with organizations that can help them. And I know for us personally, and I'm sure all the other organizations too, it was great just to network with other like-minded,
Yeah.
with similar values, similar mission sets. That was really cool. So it was really good all around. The music was great. They had Scotty Hastings. Who was the closer? Do you remember his name?
I don't.
I don't remember his name either.
Failure boys.
Yep.
Sorry, dudes.
But all of them were really good. It was just a cool event. Yeah.
Cool. That's
It was
awesome.
great to be in an establishment that everybody there was there for the same purpose, like-minded people, and it was just, I mean, freedom. It was just freedom everywhere.
Freedom.
Jay said it good. Jay Morales and the 50 Mile March were there. They had a booth set up.
Yeah.
He said it. He kind of pinpointed it. He's like, when you go to events like this, it's kind of like an old family reunion where you're just like, oh, there's my cousin Dale. You know, it's just, you don't know him, but you kind of feel like you know him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no strangers.
Right.
Yeah,
Literally.
I love that, and I'm really sad we missed out on that.
I am. We love we love that energy, those vibes.
They gave away
that's our
Wheels
jam.
for Warriors. Was there? Did you? Oh, you didn't stay for that. They give away a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's what you said.
So they gave away one there, but they don't let the person who's getting it know. So it's like a huge surprise. So literally, there's a person there going, "All right, cool. Somebody's getting a motorcycle. This is great." And then they're like, "Oh, it's you." And he's like, "Holy shit!"
I got a motorcycle.
So they give him the motorcycle. They pay like registration and insurance. They give him gas for a year. They give him all the riding equipment. It's pretty dope.
And he said something too that the one
so
like
dope.
stipulation is that they have to join like their motorcycle club. Like if you win the motorcycle, you have to ride because you're also getting the family.
You're getting
aspect of it
sponsored
as
by the particular club.
Yep.
Like they take like recommendations on who they should give it to. So there's really not like a rules to who they're giving it to. Just if you're nominated and you're chosen. But it was really cool at the end. It was kind of an emotional moment because the dude didn't know he was getting it. You know.
So cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Give me goosebumps.
For a minute there, I thought maybe it's me. Like it could be.
What do you have to
me.
do? Do you have to apply? Do you
Somebody
know?
has to nominate you.
Oh, you get nominated.
Yeah. So I was
a
like,
cool
well,
mission.
I don't know I'm getting a bike, so
But someone else could.
it could be me.
What if the person wasn't there that was nominated?
I think
They have a backup.
the plan is to keep them there.
They're there.
That guy was like a volunteer.
Don't let
for the
Larry
event.
leave, everybody. Do not let Larry leave.
That guy was like a volunteer for the event, so I think they knew he was going to be there for the long haul. But
So cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they're,
I'm
they're
sure.
making sure.
I'm sure there's a ploy to keep
Were
them
there
there.
Gold Star families there? Did they
Yep, there were some Gold
announce
Star
them,
families.
or
Not. I don't know if they announced them.
I don't think they announced it.
No, they were just kind of in the mix. with
Either
them.
way, good shit for Jason and his mission. Good shit for the community out there. I love the Wheels for Warriors deal. That's super dope. We've been to another event where they gave away a motorcycle like on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which one.
It was at the like the Sioux City Bandits game maybe in Omaha. They gave away, and I was like, they legit gave away a motorcycle. Like they're giving away nice. I think it was a Harley. Right.
No, yeah, they're
They're-
all of them are like donated or bought really cheap. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
that's
really cool.
very cool. Well,
So cool.
congratulations to all you guys for a successful event. Looking forward to next year. Maybe next year they'll have it out at our place.
He's
We'll see.
talking about making it like a couple day event.
Oh, like a whole weekend?
Yeah,
like
I think
a
he's trying
weekend
to-
festival?
trying to expand it even farther.
Ragu Festival.
Sounds
Like
like it needs to be extended.
like Country Stampede down in.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you that's another thing too from being there. I mean, I don't know how it can. There was barely enough room for what they had this weekend, let alone expanding. I mean,
They'll
they
need a bigger.
they need a
venue.
bigger venue, 100%.
Well, good news.
Bad news.
I got a guy who's got a guy. All right, well, awesome. Well, let's get cracking on this before
Yes.
we start. What we're gonna do is we saw something interesting on Andy Frisella, says Ian. So we're gonna play Andy Frisella's little, what is it, a video clip?
9/11.
A
Clip
video
from his podcast, yeah.
a clip from his podcast, okay, which is discussing Biden's absence to the 9/11 memorial site.
He didn't want to go.
Not interested.
Nope.
And then we're gonna listen to Frisella's.
Hashtag please.
I'm
forget.
interested in hearing this Frisella's take on
I'm always interested in hearing Frisella's take.
yeah, he's kind of got I mean, he's a conspiracy theorist and he's a businessman, dude. Whiskey business, friends, family, freedom.
But
I don't know if he's
very-
into whiskey, but
he's very smart and articulate too. Like
Yeah.
he can.
Very, very smart.
he's smart and articulate, but he does it in a manner that is very broken down,
Palatable.
palatable,
Very palatable.
Barney style. Yeah, layman's terms, if you will. I mean, that's why he's got such a massive following, is because he's just a regular ass guy that,
From Missouri.
yeah, that ran a business, came, grassroots business, built it to, I don't know, presumably $1 billion business.
Yeah.
And he's just a regular ass dude who is in our age group. I think he's a little older than us. Definitely a little older than you little spring chickens who are still in high school.
I think he's
on
mid
9/11.
40s now. Yeah, something like that.
He's probably mid 40s. I bet he's 43. Anyway, all right, Ian, tell yourself to roll that video.
Roll that video.
That's quick.
I forgot about it.
All right, you just fall asleep over there. All right, press play, Ian. Roll. Oh, wait. We got it up. Biden. So this is the intro.
Biden enrages 9/11 families by not going to the memorial site on anniversary, opposite of Never Forget.
Andy Frisella is 38.
No, he's not.
No way.
Don't. Whatever we do,
So
Ian,
he would be the
Ian,
youngest.
September 23rd, 1984.
No way he's 38.
I just looked it up, guys.
No way that Frisella is younger than me. That dude's gray as the day is
Wait,
long.
and you said September what, Lenny?
September 23rd.
Oh, so yeah, he is. Yeah, his birthday is in a couple
celebrity-
weeks.
Yes, Andy Frisella.
That's
He's
crazy,
the
dude.
spring chicken.
That young ass bitch. He was in elementary school on 9/11. What does he know? What does he know? Andy, grow up, bro. You don't have no life experiences yet. You ain't even 40. Anyway, all right. So what does it say on the bottom? Son of 9/11 victim says departure from tradition is evidence. Yes, is evidence of the unfortunate reality about the country, which I assume is that we're forgetting. Opposite of never forget. Like Biden is probably saying hashtag never forget, really forget. I have before we get started and listening to Frisella's take on this, and I wonder if he'll actually say this. If this is a headline they're talking about, I assume he will. Of course he's not showing up because people are waking up and they now
more than ever
want people to forget. So they are going to try and make 9/11 dwindle off into the distance as some part of history that they can write for however it is. And the more, dude, remember, you guys probably, maybe you don't remember because you were so young. I'm just kidding. I was in basic training, okay? I was on the rifle range. And I mean, I'll hashtag never forget. I was on the rifle range in the prone unsupported position. And I hear them announce over the tower, ceasefire, 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 ceasefire. Everyone stops. They announce an American plane has been hijacked and crashed into the an American plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
Was this the first one or
This was the first one.
Okay.
And then we're like, holy shit, like a plane? So us being, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, we just got to like, oh, plane hit the Twin Towers. That's crazy. And then whatever it was, 20 minutes later, ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. A second American plane has been hijacked and crashed into the World Trade Center. America is under attack.
Yep.
And now we're going, holy shit.
Yeah, what did I just sign up for?
Whoa. America is under attack. Dude, in basic training environment is already in lockdown. Yeah, it's sad. Is already in lockdown mode. And then we went into like shut down, lockdown, armed guards. I mean, normally we pull guard duties with empty weapons, and that was no longer the case.
Nope.
We now are untrained soldiers, literally haven't qualified on our rifles, and we are locked and loaded on fucking armed guard duty all night, 24-hour security.
Crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because at that point they didn't really know what else could have happened.
Well, yeah,
you know?
what to
course.
expect? What else? Yeah.
And as sad as it is, as I see Lindy holding back tears. I mean, it's awful. It's just an awful, awful memory. It was a tragic, awful thing that happened to our country. But I could tell you this. They immediately, I was in basic training. By the time I got out of AIT, which was probably 10 weeks later, they had completely stopped airing footage of the planes. They had completely stopped talking about it because they said it was bad for America's spirit and it was breeding anger. They stopped showing footage
No
of it.
shit.
No shit. It was breeding
Well,
anger.
That's when we then turned to the war on terrorism and started going over for essentially other.
The bottom
reasons
line
and-
is,
Well-
man, regardless of what you think, whether it was an inside attack or a terrorist attack, a lot of people lost their lives that day.
Of course.
So that is the reason to never forget, regardless of what your belief is.
That's right.
There are families out there who don't have a loved one because of whatever reason, and that's why it should never be forgotten. It was a mass casualty event that needs to be remembered.
I couldn't agree more. And I made a post actually from Tucker Max, who is the author of a book called "I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell" and "Assholes
Yes.
Finish First."
Yeah.
And several other books. But he made a post last year. Check it out. But it basically says two things can be true at once. Like, I can understand that 9/11 is a very sad day for our country and mourn the loss of the lives that were lost on that day and the torture that us as a society, as a country went through that day. And also think that they use that as a tool to take away our freedoms and introduce what I've talked about on the show several times, the airport's TSA. Okay, the Patriot Act, where they are now allowed to spy on U.S. citizens. TSA, which I've been saying this since the start of COVID, when the airport authority, when the airport structure and system starts to bleed out into our restaurants, into our grocery stores, into our societies, we are in trouble, because the airport is what a communist society looks like, which is peasants given the power,
Do what I say.
right, to without cause, without reason, boss around innocent people who are just trying to go about their lives. And if you don't do it, you are under the threat of a federal crime. That is communism. That is exactly what it looks like. And that was brought to you by 9/11. As sad as it was, and as horrible as it was, the terror that it brought us and still brings us today. That was when it started. It's still going on.
It's just getting worse.
And ironically, the hashtag never forget has been the 9/11 slogan, but literally, to my point, 2 weeks after it happened, they tried to literally make us forget. They turned it off all the TVs and said, it's breeding too much anger. It's breeding Why? Because they united us to allow them the power that they wanted to take. And then we were too united, and they saw us getting pissed.
Yep.
And then they said, hold on a second. We don't want them mad at us. We don't want them to never figure out. So it was a quiet, there was no YouTube. We couldn't just go Google 9/11 terror, Twin Tower video. We couldn't do that. There wasn't that. We had to wait. I think ABC ran a special months later. It had to have been January the next year, I think. They ran a special where they, for a limited time, put this, documentary type special out on the World Trade Center. But hashtag never forget. Of course they want us to forget. They've wanted us to forget since 2 weeks after it happened. And now I think now more than ever, people are waking up
I do too.
to, I think now more than ever. And that's probably why Biden that's probably why they're trying to diminish it. Anyway, we have talked way too much to have yet to press play. And by we, I mean I. I made my poor wife cry already. I pissed Zach off.
Furious.
Ian, actually roll that video. Press play.
And she's at the Pentagon, or no, she's at Ground Zero. He's in Alaska. You got anything on this?
I mean, look, the vibe around 9/11, when 9/11 happened, I was 21 years old.
He's older than, press pause. I was 18.
So yeah, something. Math ain't
Why
adding
is
up.
his birthday wrong on the internet?
Right.
I looked it up too.
There's like the only three.
Okay,
that I
first
looked
of all, how awesome
Or
is
maybe-
it that
or maybe
he
he's
starts
saying-
off with his age. He starts off by saying, wait a second.
I was at a bar
You
when this happened.
dumbasses. I was
Dude,
drunk.
all over the internet as 1984 though. 100%. Like I can't find anything.
Maybe
different.
he has
He's
no
saying he's
idea.
older?
Maybe he's wrong.
Maybe he doesn't have a birth certificate.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he is a sovereign citizen.
Did he hashtag forget?
But I've heard him.
He hashtag forgot his own birthday.
I have 100% heard him talk about being in his 40s.
I feel like I have too.
He looks like he's in his 40s.
There's no
He's
way
also
that
been-
dude is 30.
He's also been stabbed in the face, though, so let's give him a little grace on his
That's
looks.
true.
All right.
Listen, he's a handsome man. He's an Italian American too. He looks like he could be my brother.
This is so crazy.
He's probably
though,
got a
dude.
good meatball
Why
recipe.
is his
For
birthday
sure.
wrong all over the internet?
All over the internet.
So if he was 21, that means he's 44.
43, 44.
Or
yeah.
44, or 40, yeah, 43 or
Yeah.
44.
Wow.
right.
Cool.
Let's go. Press play.
Well, I had school that day, and I remember I woke up, and we had an answering machine. You know, a lot of you guys don't even know what that is. Yeah.
How great.
So, you know, my phone rang, and it was my mom, and I was still in bed, and I could hear
say he
her
was on his way to
talking
school?
the answering machine, and I heard her like say something like, "You need to turn on the TV. A plane just flew into the World Trade Center," and I thought like a little plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought like a Cessna or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
Which
I
would
did
make
get
sense.
up and I went and clicked on the TV, and not even like a minute later, the second plane like came into the frame, and I saw the whole thing happen like on live TV. And you know, I mean, it was like surreal. It was surreal that it was happening. Like I remember watching it being like, holy shit, like what the fuck is going on? I think most of America felt that way.
Yeah.
And it was such a symbolic, like in your face act of aggression, right? And everybody united, you know, everybody, the streets were lined. It didn't matter, you know, if you were Democrat or Republican. It didn't matter if you were black or white. Didn't matter where you came from. The American flag was everywhere. Everybody was united. And you're correct in that assessment. The problem with it is and you know, there's we have to talk about the reality of it, you know. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of innocent Americans died that day. But there's all kinds of things about 9/11 that never added up and that never came to the surface and that never came to reality.
Amen.
And when people first started, you know, so for the first 3 or 4 years after 9/11, everybody was united. Everybody was like, yeah, let's get the terrorists, you know, which was basically made out to be anybody that was Arab, which was wrong. And Americans bought it hook, line, and sinker. And
Yeah, we bought it.
through
We bought what they were selling us.
100%.
the manipulation of the pain and the frustration that we had as Americans, they changed a lot of things about America. You know, they introduced the Patriot Act. They introduced
Ooh, there it
TSA.
is. Oh.
They started doing all kinds of different things that weren't in the interests of American people under the name of fighting terrorism. And of course, you know, they went to war and killed millions of
pause real
people in the
quick.
Middle East.
Just so everyone knows I'm not plagiarizing or watching this beforehand. Yesterday, I made a post, which was a repost from Tucker Max from 2022 on 9/11, where he says, number one, 9/11 was a horrible attack on America. Number two, the men and women who fought. It basically says, I know many people, I know it's hard for many people to understand, but multiple things can be true. Number one, 9/11 was a horrible attack on America. Number two, the men and women who fought in the global war on terrorism are heroes. Number three, throwing the best of a generation to die in Iraq and Afghanistan was a horrible waste. Number four, the regime used 9/11 to create overreaching security state that ended the American Republic and to enrich a small cabal of awful people. Number three, there are far more to this story than has been told. What exactly it entails, I won't pretend to know. I agree with everyone who says 9/11 never forget. The tragedy began on 9/11 and is still going. I choose to remember all of it. Like, prior to that, it says, like most Americans, I can grieve those who were lost on 9/11, 2001, a tragedy I will never forget. I also don't forget that Iraq had nothing to do with it, yet the regime invaded them. Nor do I forget the Taliban offered to give up bin Laden, yet the regime invaded Afghanistan. Nor have I forgotten how the, quote, temporary security measures, e.g. TSA, are now permanent. Nor have I forgotten how the regime used 9/11 to force in the Patriot Act, which created the modern surveillance state, FISA courts, NSA collection of domestic communications, Gitmo, etc. So just for clarity, I'm not plagiarizing Frisello when I talk about this prior to. This is a thing that people understand. And if you don't understand it,
Do your research.
wake up.
Do your own research.
Yeah, we bought what they were selling us. Now, the motive on what they were selling us, I mean, there's a whole lot of motives. I mean, that, you know, trillions of dollars going missing, the Pentagon attack, the, you know, Rumsfeld, the need to impose these security members to literally take away our rights to control the population, like whatever it is, there's a lot of motives behind it.
And that was the thing that you said too there, Matt, is with money going missing, how many companies profited billions of dollars off of 9/11?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I mean, more than we've even seen with you know, COVID. I mean, it's similar, but I mean, because you had a united country behind of government wants money, do it.
And we have
course.
the perfect scapegoat.
Bro,
Middle East.
we got to see it clearly with COVID. And I think, you know, that, dude, there's a
But
great awakening.
Well, 2001 was still that time period where most people wouldn't have been able to wrap their heads around the government being able to pull something like that off.
Of course.
Now that COVID's happened and they see that, well, maybe the government is capable of more than we thought they were. Now let's look back at all this other shit that's happened in the history.
You don't
of the
sound
United
so
States.
crazy anymore.
And
And
how
it doesn't look
easy-
as far-fetched
That's right.
that they could have done something crazy to push their narratives and their motives.
And to see how easily people are convinced of something
And
because
buy into
they're
that
scared.
narrative. Yeah.
Because they're scared and because I think Frisella says it all the time. You have an expectation that your government is not going to lie to you.
That's right.
That's a reasonable expectation.
Yes.
And once you realize that that's not the case and stop believing everything they do, then you can start kind of digging into some of the shit that's happening and figuring out.
And
It doesn't all add up.
outside of 9/11, I mean, if you look at 9/11 with a different eye of maybe something fishy happened there because it's helping push a narrative, then it also makes you look at school shootings a little differently and a lot of things. And don't get me wrong, I'm not massive tragedies, not taking anything away from that, but
Once again, two things can be true at the same time.
because of that, it is essentially trying to help push a narrative of let's get rid of guns, let's push this, you know, new legislature through.
And if you realize the government does not care how many people have to die to get their agenda across.
We are not suicidal.
We are not Epstein.
We are not suicidal. We would never kill ourselves. If someone kills us, it was because we said things on our podcast. That they didn't
Hashtag
like.
never forget Lendy.
Yes. We are not suicidal. Dude, you're right. Two things can be true at the same time. It could be really sad, but at the same time, one of two things is happening. They are either creating the events that literally terrorize our own population, and they're using that fear to take our rights, or they are creating those things that terrorize our nation and then using that fear to take away our rights. I mean, if we look at it either way, I've said this all the time. Like, don't look at, if you think I'm crazy for thinking this, just don't look at the cause. Just look at the effect. The outcome of all of these things are they're trying to take away our rights. That's it. Like the outcome, and that's what I am vehemently and 100% opposed to, is the abolishment of our constitutional and birth rights in this country, in America, the constitutional republic that we once had. I am absolutely opposed to any crisis taking away our rights. There's that, what is it? New Mexico, maybe. I saw a clip of their governor, maybe, or
Taken away temporarily.
temporarily suspending the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
look that up
Well,
while
that's
we
the
watch
thing,
this.
dude. They use Americans in general have empathy and want to do good, and they use
course.
that against you. Like, we
course.
need to do these things to save people's lives.
Of course.
You
And
said
of
New
course-
Mexico?
It's New Mexico.
Of course,
Google it.
most people are gonna do them because, well, I don't want to be responsible for somebody getting killed,
Right?
So I need to do this to ensure
course.
the safety of our citizens.
Yeah, they're literally preying on the God inside of us, God, who is our guiding star of right and wrong. They're literally saying, God isn't real, trust the science, while preying on God inside of us, our intuition, our natural guiding star of right and wrong. And they're saying, this is right. We have to take away your rights. And that's where I say, listen, I have a hard line. And the hard line is, I don't care. You know, and I'm not going to say I don't care how many kids die. I care. Stop killing the kids. All you psychos who are being radicalized or whatever the reason is, you're killing kids, stop killing kids. Kill those people. Kill them. I don't care if you kill them. But we cannot lose our rights to protect ourselves. I do not care if, obviously I care if we get a terrorist attack on our nation, but I do not care enough to forfeit my right to privacy. I do not care enough. Why? Because the threat of a terroristic government is far greater than ISIS, than the Taliban. The only thing protecting us is our rights. And the moment those are gone, we are screwed. We are screwed.
So on Friday, New Mexico Governor Michelle Grisham on Friday issued a public health emergency order that suspends the right to bear arms in Albuquerque and surrounding Bernalillo County. The order, which lasts for 30 days but can be renewed.
Can be
renewed.
Thank
you. So
you,
it's
Governor.
temporary but
Right.
can become permanent. Applies to concealed or open carry of firearms on public property, with exceptions for police officers and security guards. Grisham said citizens with permits to carry firearms are free to possess their weapons on private property, provided they transport the firearm in a locked box, use a trigger lock, etc.
Just so we're clear, anyone who's going to watch this show and say that we are collectively, or me individually, am a conspiracy theorist,
It starts with shit like this.
that is the exact situation that we have been screaming about for 10 years.
How they started TSA, temporary.
Temporary. Right. It's all temporary. And we say, listen, people, they're trying to get to the fact that they can literally suspend your right to bear arms. And people said, no,
That'll never
you're
happen.
a radical, crazy conspiracy theorist. You now have a literal sitting elected official in a free-ass state of New Mexico taking away temporarily, like it all starts. And it's always for our safety.
Yep.
It's
That's
always.
How, that's how they get it passed.
Of course.
In an
because
emergency.
An emergency. The emergency, that chick, I saw the video, she declared, well, yeah, that's true. You do have that right, but I have the sole discretion in an emergency to take away your rights. Your rights don't override my right to take away your rights. Dude, it's literal
That's wild.
tyranny.
That's wild.
Literally in this country. So all you people at the start of COVID who said this shit is impossible for them to do it. We're America. We've got constitutional rights that'll never pass. Bullshit, they're doing it.
We're watching it.
We're watching it happen right now. If you don't believe your eyes and your ears, watch what they're saying. They're saying it in public. They are no longer hiding it.
Well, remember when they shut down the country. I mean, you want to talk about
Took
pure
away our rights.
craziness. You couldn't leave your house, or you weren't supposed to, unless if you were going to the grocery store.
They literally took our freedom.
Yeah.
We were no longer free. During COVID, we were no longer free. They temporarily, and you'll all remember, it was only for 14 days.
14 days, flatten the curve.
And it was only to flatten the curve.
an emergency.
And it was only an emergency. And it was going to go away. And it was for our own good. It was for the greater good. We had to do it because that was what was right. How could we have to come together as a society and forfeit our rights to the government and forfeit our freedom. We were no longer free. Like, I remember people going, all you got to do is wear a mask and get vaccinated, and then you can go out to the restaurants. Wait a second. Let's break this down to the lowest common denominator. What you are telling me is I am no longer free in America to go eat. I could be turned around at the grocery store for not having a vaccine or for not vaccine bay, or not having a passport, a document that says I had complied with a government worldwide drug. You can no longer eat. You can no longer get food if you have not complied with these rules. You're a conspiracy theorist. No, I lived
crazy.
it. You never lived it because you complied. I lived my freedoms and my rights being taken. And people were like, it's just a mask. It's just a vaccine. It's just a rule. If you don't like it, don't go.
You're killing people, Matt.
Right. You're a baby killer. You're killing seniors.
You're
right.
a threat to national security, Matt.
Listen, I hate shows like these, man. I you know what? From now on, I'm not doing any shows like this anymore. I'm not going to talk any of this truth, but I lived it. My own body, my own mind, my own soul. I literally, me, my family, we had our freedoms taken away from us. And if you think it wasn't, then you didn't live it.
And you're also old enough to not be in high school during 9/11.
Yeah, I think we were going to react to Andy Frisella's opinion.
Let's see what he's got to say.
Let's see what he says on this. Go ahead.
Billions of people in the Middle East that were innocent and had nothing to do with what was going on. And so the narrative has really changed. And I think,
a little frog in his throat.
On 9/11, if you look at the internet, it's very polarizing. You see people who say never forget, and they get insulted when you point out.
I just noticed the branded water.
Some of the quote unquote conspiracy elements about it, like Donald Rumsfeld saying the day before 9/11 on 9/10/2001 that the Pentagon couldn't find $3 trillion.
And then 9/11 happened.
And like the only office that had the records of that.
Pentagon.
Yeah, right. Or the insurance policy that was taken out on the towers, previously that year that paid the insurance beneficiary.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Plus
Me neither.
$1 billion, right? Like we have these things that all point to it being an orchestrated tragedy to unite Americans in order to produce the war, in order to benefit these politicians and these very evil corrupt elite people that we talk about every single day on the show.
Evil.
And it wasn't really until COVID happened when enough people saw how that, because
It's
that
so
was very
crazy.
sloppy how they did
He
that,
draws
right?
the
Like,
exact same
yes,
conclusions.
people bought it, but there was a big number of people that didn't buy it.
Amen.
And that wasn't the case at 9/11. Everybody, when 9/11 happened,
100%.
was like, holy shit, we all bought it.
Yeah.
And when COVID happened, not everybody bought it, and it opened up the narrative for people who had doubts about 9/11 to kind of explore those doubts and look into it. And now we have what I don't think it's mainstream, but I think it's getting to be mainstream, where a lot of people realize that 9/11 was conducted heavily by our own 3-letter agencies for a certain specific purpose.
Burn.
There it
There it
is.
was.
And then we
There
start
it is.
throwing in
We're
the
getting
idea
canceled.
of how the CIA allegedly executed Kennedy and like all these things. And,
It opens up a lot.
if we want to talk about the real terrorism, that's the terrorism. That's the terrorism. It's funny how, Middle Easterners were painted as terrorists for so many years in this country, and you
Dude,
don't hear
press
anything
pause.
about it anymore. Like they're not.
I literally just said this. They are terror. I mean, I didn't say terrorism, but it's the same thing. Like the real terrorism is them terrorizing us.
You don't have to be from another country to perform
Right.
terrorism.
It's incredible that their whole goal with all of this overreach and infringement on our rights is to prevent terrorism. Meanwhile, they are the one terrorizing. They're literally terrorizing us instead of giving us peace and comfort, which is what their job is to do, is to act in our best interest and give us the confidence that they are doing so and are capable of doing so to give us peace. Instead, they have no clue. They literally fumble. I think it's intentional, but they literally fumble every single ball that's put in their hand, which gives us no comfort, which in turn terrorizes us. Like they're trying to protect us against terrorism. Meanwhile, they are the ones terrorizing us. Listen, press play. Fuck, I'm just going to listen.
Worried
I'm
about
not
all
saying
these
anything else. So I get mad.
Western African or Middle Eastern or third world country citizens coming across the border, not saying a word about it. Where 10 years ago, it would have been like, man, they're going to suicide vest everybody and riled everybody up. And I really think that
Suicide vest. Remember those?
what this, from my perspective, and I have a different perspective because I'm old enough to have witnessed both these events. It's
Old
very
balls.
interesting how they've manipulated the country into believing certain things and how easy it is to believe or manipulate people into believing certain things. I was one of those people who bought the Middle Easterners and Arabs are terrorists for many years. Like my position back then was very much so like, let's just fucking wipe them the fuck out.
Yeah.
And like, bro, that's very, I'm embarrassed to admit that now because I have so many friends that I've met from that area of the world who are great people who have basically the same values that
Press pause
I
real
have.
quick.
And they have.
I'm sure I could speak for all of us because we were deployed, but we got to see, this was not ever my opinion because in 2003, we were able to be deployed and meet these individuals and understood that they were just freedom seeking, good, solid people that wanted to not be terrorized.
I deployed. There were a few in my unit that joined the military because this happened that were from the Middle East.
Well, my MOS when I was deployed allowed me to interact with Iraqi police officers and different people in the country. And you're right.
Yeah, we never
got along great. Had similar values, similar beliefs. It was definitely not like the narrative they were pushing.
For sure, but I could see how Andy and others would have most of America fell into that. I remember saying, like, you've got it wrong. These people are just good-hearted people that just want to not be terrorized by their government. They just want to not be terrorized by the people in charge of their country, and that was what was happening. And now we're seeing it on our soil. Go ahead, press play. I promised myself I wasn't going to talk anymore.
Happen to be Muslim.
Don't ask me how I'm going to run a
I
podcast without talking.
And, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are good people, and we've been manipulated so heavily in so many different ways. And it's just interesting to look at how the narrative has changed on 9/11 on social media over the years, because now it's like this argument about like who did it, what was involved, and then you still have people who say you guys are crazy. But dude, look, man, it's undeniable. There's there's tons and tons of evidence here, and I think the best thing that's happening because of all of this is that people are legitimately asking questions about everything now.
Amen.
You know, they're
a great awakening.
Ability, these corrupt 3-letter people. You know, I'm not saying the whole agencies are all corrupt, but I mean a lot of it is.
More than one person.
Let's be real. Yeah. These people are orchestrating tragedies in the world that are unnecessary and that only benefit certain classes of people, when that's not the natural state of humanity. The natural state of humanity is peace and harmony and goodwill. Mm-hmm. And we continue to have the jar shaken for the benefit of a very, very wealthy, very, very few in number segment of the population. And, you know, every time this anniversary comes around, I think more and more people are waking up to what's actually going on, because it's running congruent with some of the fuckery that they're playing right now.
Fuckery.
Yeah, I had a back and forth with a lefty on Instagram. I think
like Ian
last night.
Lefty.
You know, but they were saying,
was it Ian?
You know, all these conspiracy theories.
Sorry,
like,
buddy.
you know, we should just leave those people alone. You know, like it doesn't do them any justice. And I'm like, you know, well, here's the thing: if there's a possibility, right, that thing was that 9/11 was orchestrated, that it was a involved, you know, plot that led to the justification of a 20-year plus war, that led to the justification of, you know, thousands of American soldiers dying, right? A whole generation of, you know, patriotic fighters dying, right? If there's a possibility that these conspiracy theories are true, does it not do justice to everybody that, you know, have lost their lives or loved ones? Does it not do justice to them to get to the bottom of it?
Ask
to get
questions.
To the truth of it? Like, what justice?
You can't have justice without truth.
Right?
That's the whole point.
Amen.
You know, and a lot of people want to sweep this under the rug because they want to, you know, just look away. You know, it's like when you have a big problem in your life and you decide to like look the other way, the problem doesn't go away. It gets bigger. It gets worse. It gets more powerful, and it takes more from you. And that's a big problem for a lot of people because it's such an uncomfortable thing to look at and say, could people really be that evil?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at what they've done over the last 3 years. I mean, most of you guys listening, even if you disagree with, let's say, 60 to 70% of what I say, you understand that there's still a ton of truth to the fact that what just happened over the last 3 years was engineered to happen.
I think that's why that's why they're so afraid of it.
I think that's why they're so afraid of it too. And I think he didn't talk about Biden and not showing up and Biden's unwillingness to be a part of the 9/11 memorial and continuing on the tradition to hashtag never forget. I think they want us to forget. I think they, like Frisella said, I mean, I think like we all said, I think COVID was a real eye opener, and as what's his name? DJ alluded to, 9/11 didn't stop. Like, think about the lives. Like, it literally was our justification for a 20-year war. We didn't lose. I see people posting, memes and little pictures on Instagram with like death tolls and numbers. They're forgetting literally 2 generations worth of lives that were lost since then. It began on 9/11. That was day one. Like, and it was before that. Like, it's so hard to even comprehend how deep this goes, but we continued to lose lives after that. We lost lives in Afghanistan. We lost lives in America. We lost lives in Iraq. We lost lives in Syria. Like, we've continued to lose lives from that. That was the catalyst. Not only did we do that, we lost freedoms, man.
Unjustly created so much hate towards a particular group of people. It's just crazy, man. The amount of racism and prejudice that festered because of that,
Of course.
Golly, man.
The effects of that were far, far beyond what the narrative is that we're supposed to mourn and we're supposed to care about. And I feel like, because I'm just a conspiracy theorist-minded individual, I think it's intentional. I think they're like, yep, hashtag never forget these 4,000 people that lost their lives. Hashtag forget the rest. Speaking of, what is Joe Biden... Did Joe Biden respond? Like, did he say anything about not going? Or at the beginning they said Kamala Harris was in, or was she there? Do you know?
I don't know if she was there, but I know they said that part of the reason is because 20 years after Pearl Harbor happened, that the presidents weren't still going to the memorial. It's not a requirement.
Who said that? The president?
Press secretary?
They're people.
Well, he doesn't talk, and when he does,
yeah, no, not the president.
Blibber blabber.
He can't say a full sentence.
He can't
like
do
that.
it.
What's the press secretary's name? What's her name?
Jean Pierre.
Mitch McConnell definitely didn't say it either.
No,
he would have frozen 2
He's
words
not
in.
talking.
He's still paused somewhere.
Yep, he's on pause. Well, either way, this shit is sad. It's terrible. Again, the disclaimer again, like, for anyone hating and gonna drop hate and talk shit about our motives and all that, like, you're wrong. So whatever you want to think is fine. Actually, the more you comment, the more it'll drive the algorithms.
Please, because this one's about to get shut the fuck down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is gonna get 0 plays. So we said the V word and the G word. We said all the words too many times in this show. So all right, let's get this show on the road. Listen, this is serious business. Ask questions. Don't believe anything. And most importantly, like, if they try to run this play again, and they're gonna, okay, it might look
they're already started with the COVID,
right?
A new variant COVID shit.
Oh, and because of the climate crisis and because of the COVID variant, they're taking away our guns now. So it's no longer taking away our actual freedom, our freedom to roam about our own country. It's a topic that I did want to talk about. We'll talk about it later, but I was booking flights last night. I'm going to a wedding in New York, and I was booking flights, and I found on my Delta app, it says, "Do you have a Real ID?" What is Real ID, you ask? Real ID is beginning May 7th, 2025, which is
online. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Real ID, which is a government platform, okay, that says, beginning May 7th, 2025, speaking of taking freedoms, you will need a state-issued, quote, Real ID compliant license or identification card or another acceptable form of ID, open parentheses, such as a passport, close parentheses, to fly, within the United States. Okay? Which means in order to travel about your own country, you're going to have a government registered trackable identification. into a database that they will track.
Where has this motherfucker been going?
The question is, why aren't we doing that for voting? Because
there's a concept.
Because government IDs
we don't want to track that, Matt.
are racist. The real answer is Ian said. They don't want to track it.
We don't want to track where votes come from,
Right.
but we do want to know where the fuck you're going. Oh, why'd you go to Iowa, Matt? Why are you in New York?
That's what I said.
You're
in my
gonna
post.
get.
I'm gonna look at your
lot.
real
You
ID.
Travel too much, dude.
Dude, they will track your travel, but they will not track your votes. And if you know, by the same standard, if you apply the logic of the of IDs are racist because the underprivileged black and brown Americans do not have access to identifications. If you apply that same logic, black and brown Americans will no longer be able to travel equally around our country either. But the reality is it's just another way. I think it's super ironic that, speaking of taking freedoms, it's going to take place conveniently a few months after.
It actually has a date.
Yeah, it actually has a date, May 7th, 2025, which is approximately what?
2 years?
6 months after the next presidential election. Get out of town.
Wake up, people.
Well, you don't want to have that be a topic before the election.
Of course not.
We don't want either presidential candidate to talk about this.
And they're not really talking about it. It's just a disclaimer on the Delta app.
Right. They're not talking about it. No one's going to talk about it until it's there.
Wonder if United has it, Southwest has it.
I'm sure.
American.
Government,
yeah.
I bet you it's going to be everywhere.
I've said it said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. If at the end of the road, one of our constitutionally protected rights is lost, I'm not into it. I am a absolute pro-freedom, constitutional freedom advocate.
Would you say you're a hard pass?
You're not going to be able to travel unless we all collectively stand up and
There's
do
no
not
way
comply,
people will do that.
and they will not do it.
Yeah.
They will not do it. Do not comply with this.
They're going to lose some business, but not enough.
Not enough. And then guess what? The people who do, the only way around this, if they try to run this play again, and they're going to, they're literally talking about it. They're currently doing it. They're taking away our gun rights
if
in
you
our
have a private
United
jet?
States.
You still got to pay for fuel, though, so they're jacking up fuel prices. You still got. That's what I
Well,
was
you
just
still
thinking.
need
I
to
was like,
have
we could just
permission
fucking drive everywhere, but
go
then they're just
into
going to
it.
jack up fuel prices.
Well,
and
not just
some-
that. I mean, think if, more cars are becoming electric, they could control, put a fence. You know what I mean? You have to stay within your state border
Oh,
unless if you
geofencing.
have.
Sure.
Yeah. And then same thing with a private jet. You still have to get permission to leave the runway.
That's right.
Is everyone's real ID? No. Well, you can't fucking leave.
There's still a manifest.
Yeah.
There's still
Private jet
they
or
still
not.
have to go through the same FAA.
You got people
laws.
like California. They're trying to get rid of all gas vehicles. So then,
Hey,
yes, they're
good-
going to control you can't even drive outside the
Good
state.
thing we've been training for the march because we're going to be walking.
We're going to be
a lot.
walkers. That's right. Listen, we know we can walk 50 miles in a day. So good luck to all you.
Good luck getting to that wedding in New York.
Yeah, it's going to be. Sorry.
We should have left last Monday,
Yeah,
Wendy.
when's the wedding? January, or we'll get on the road. Yeah, we'll get on the road now. Anyway, all right, people, listen. Fun topic. If it wasn't so not fun,
Not fun at all.
Not yeah. I enjoy talking about this as much as I literally hate talking about it. It sucks the positive energy right out of the studio. It sucks the life out of me. I hate it. But we feel that it is important to talk to. We also feel that we literally put our lives and our families at risk by talking about this.
And this is how you hashtag never forget is let's find out what fucking happened.
Yeah, we just have questions, man. I like we started the show. I don't know what did happen, but I know what didn't happen, and I know a plane did not hit the Pentagon. And audience, find me a video or a digital still photo that isn't photoshopped of an airplane at the Pentagon. Find me remnants. Find me like one of the most highly protected.
Right. I was going to say all the
right.
security cameras.
Yeah, it was
Nothing.
2001. It wasn't like there wasn't security cameras.
There's at least 100 cameras pointing
Right.
at that building.
And there's zero.
Zero footage of.
You're telling me you can't break into that place, but you can crash a plane into it and not have evidence? Stop it.
All the footage
And
of
how much time did they have between the two other planes that hit the World Trade Center? They would have been on high alert, whatever, blasting into the air to. Stop
Matt
the
was
plane.
at high alert on a gun range, Lindy, not the
Exact-
Pentagon.
Right. Come on, dude. We need answers. I hate even talking about this. For those of you who think we are naysayers and who have the confidence and the gall, I invite you to come sit right in Zach's chair and explain yourself. I'd love to have a conversation about it.
I can't
Please
wait till
convince-
somebody takes you up on that.
They're not gonna do it.
No one's doing it.
Nobody's going to do it. Everybody just wants to come on and agree with me.
Or everyone just wants to naysay you on the socials, but they don't want to
Yeah,
come in.
or they want to
Keyboard
talk.
warriors.
Yeah, they want to talk shit behind our back. Do you believe how crazy? Like whatever, dude. Listen, I invite you all. That's the third time I bitch smacked my drink today. I invite you all, if you disagree with me, to come. Number one, bring evidence. Bring some evidence that one of the most highly secured building in the country, presumably in the world, doesn't have one single video footage, but there is something from like a guard shack. The one camera, like a side view, that looks like they say it was a plane, and it also looks like a missile. So I don't know what did happen, but I know what didn't happen. What didn't happen is what they tell us happened. So hopefully we can get some answers. But I think I'm going to end this with a positive note here. As we said before, there is a great reset happening. The new world order is taking place. The American dollar is collapsing, is diving. Hopefully it rebounds. Hopefully they have our best interest and they do that. There are alliances being formed. World governments are taking control of different parts of the world and different regions. So they call it the Great Reset. There is also a Great Awakening. And I think that's why the president is not going to go to 9/11 Memorial anymore. I think that's why they're trying to #forget. They're trying to put all this in the back because I think they understand that whatever they're trying to do, the people are now more than ever in history asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super optimistic to, if they try to run this disease or virus play again, that people are going to stand their ground and say, I'd rather die. I'd rather die than put a mask on my face. And I'd rather die than giving up my freedom. I'd rather die than being forced into injecting myself with a medicine that I don't want or that I don't need. Hopefully people understand that their bodily autonomy and control over their body is worth more than compliance and saving whatever it is they say we're saving. So I do think that there is a mass awakening. To whatever it is that's going on. And I don't claim, I know it sounds like I make a claim to know everything. I don't know everything because I feel like it's intentional that we're not allowed to know everything. It's impossible to know everything. The people that do are very dialed in, and they're probably wrong anyway. But I know what didn't happen. So I hope everyone continues to wake up. Please share the show. Please do us a solid and get the message out to, continue to drive and find purpose and deliver your purpose to the world and not find purpose in all of the bullshit, narratives that the mainstream media and the narrative givers are giving out. So anything else to say?
You said it.
Did I ramble too much on that?
Yeah, probably. Go ahead.
Ian, cut that part out. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate your love and support. As always, find your purpose, serve your purpose, and protect your purpose, people. Peace.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.